When we buy or sell an option, it results in what is called an option contract. In this video, we will look at what this contract means using an example from the airline industry called as price lock. You are watching episode 2 of my Start From Zero course. In the last video, we discussed how options can help us capture all the upside without owning the stock. And when we trade these options, it creates something called an option contract. And just like any other trade, you have a buyer and seller who agree on something. And to make understanding this easier, I'm going to give you a quick example. And before we get going, if you like this type of content, please say yes by liking and subscribing to my channel so I know if I am providing real value. My goal is to take something as complex as options trading and break it down as easy as possible using simple examples from our daily lives. Recently, the airline industry came up with a new concept called as a trip lock or a fare lock. What this basically helps you is to lock the price on a flight ticket for a certain number of days. And because prices change very frequently, and we also may have other plans, the ability to hold the price is a very helpful feature. So if you look at this ticket, which is 200, I have an option to hold it for a certain number of days. And this changes compared to how many days you want to actually lock it. For 2 days, it costs $6, and for 7 days, it costs $19. There are two main reasons why this might be helpful. First, my plan may not be finalized, but at the same time, I don't want to pay expensive last-minute prices. So basically, locking gives me the peace of mind if I do decide to go. And the second case is where I know I'm going, but I'm not sure if this is the cheapest price I could get. By locking this for a small fee, I can continue to look for lower prices without worrying about paying higher prices later. When we buy a call option, it basically is like placing a price lock. So if I buy this call option for $120 by paying this $269 as the fee, I'm locking the price for this particular date. Whatever happens to the Apple stock, I am guaranteed to buy this at $120 per share. It's just like the flight ticket. If the stock goes down, I can buy it at that price, which is $115. Or if it goes all the way up to $130, this price lock will allow me to still buy it at $120. Okay? And when I do this, the seller will keep 100 shares of stock reserved for me, and I can pay him and buy it anytime until March 19. And if the stock crashes during this time, it doesn't make sense for me to pay higher for a stock which is way down. So this contract is considered worthless and it will expire. Okay, this duration we select is called an expiration date. And the price we pay is called option premium. And finally, the price we lock it is called as the strike price. Okay, so far we know a buyer and a seller combine to make a contract. Let's take a closer look at this life cycle. The transaction begins with a buyer shopping for the right contract. He's looking at which stock or which airline he's going to travel and how many days he wants to lock the price. And once decided, the buyer pays the fees to the seller, which is also called the option premium. And once accepting the payment, the seller locks this asset and a contract is established. Because a price lock guarantees a flight ticket, after selling a fare lock, the airline can never sell that ticket to anyone else. And the same goes with the shares. Each call option involves 100 shares of the stock, and during the time the contract is open, the seller can never sell these 100 shares. Right now I have 200 shares of Express, but I can never sell these until I close the call options that I sold last week. These 200 shares will be held as a collateral until this contract is closed. There are many ways how a contract can end, so let's look at the different possibilities to get the whole picture. The first possibility is when the buyer decides to exercise the contract. In the airline example, the passenger could decide to buy the ticket after finalizing his plan, or the option buyer can decide to buy 100 shares of the stock. Right now I have a call option for CCIV for the $20 strike. The stock is currently trading at 26. And because this is $6 cheaper, I can use this call option and buy 100 shares at just 20. The process to exercise changes to each brokerage. In Robinhood, you have this option called Excercise, and you can click on it and do it directly from your platform. But unless you really like the stock, this option is rarely taken by a trader. We will discuss more about why we don't exercise in a future episode. The second possibility, which happens very frequently, is when the contract expires worthless. Right now, I have some call options on Nokia for the $8 strike price, but the stock is only trading at $4, and in the next few days, it's very unlikely that Nokia can actually go all the way up to 8. And this will mostly expire as 0. And when you look at the option chain, there are so many call option contracts all the way up to 19. And in the next 5 days, there's only so much that can happen, which means whoever purchased all these contracts here will see them expire worthless. The third possibility is when the contract is auto-exercised. When buying a fare lock on United Airlines, they have the option to automatically purchase the ticket on the last day of expiration. If the ticket is say 400 and you have a fare lock for 200, your credit card will be charged and the ticket will be purchased at that price. And if you have an option contract, you will get an email that looks like this. This email says that I have a call option for the $5 strike, and this contract will be automatically exercised if the stock finishes above 5. So don't be surprised if you bought a call option and completely forgot about it, and one day 100 shares magically pops up in your account. And of course, this can only happen if you have enough balance on your account. The fourth possibility is when the buyer closes the options trade before expiration. In my airline example, only the first 3 possibilities here can happen, but in the options market, you have 2 more possibilities. Once you buy an option contract, you never have to wait until the last day of expiration. You can just close it by selling it back into the market whenever you like. And this is highly recommended when you don't want to buy 100 shares of the stock. Right now, I have this call option expiring on Friday, and I can just sell it for $685 instead of paying $2,000 to buy 100 shares. We will surely look more into how to buy and sell options in the future episodes. The last option is when the brokerage closes the trade for you before expiration. While not all the brokers do this, most of them want to avoid surprises when your account is not sufficiently funded. If you look at this email, I have a Tesla 450 call option that is going to expire, and to buy 100 shares would require $45,000, which I don't have in my account. So if I don't sell this and close the trade, the brokerage will take care of that by automatically placing an order 1 hour before expiration. Each of them handle differently, but they all have a trading team that will actively work together to make sure you don't end up shut. So as an options trader, the best practice is to always close your positions before expiration, unless you know exactly what you're doing. If you don't have the money, don't let it sit there. Okay, I hope you have a much clearer idea on what is an option contract. And in the next episode, I would like to show you how to shop for the right contract. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.